Hey everybody, so glad you guys could join us for our first ever Zoom call where we're having these kind of home interactive moments. So we're really excited to do this. This is the first time we've ever done it, so you guys are kind of our test case in the best possible way to try something new and different, connecting, talking a little bit about the different holidays that we're going to have throughout the year. So our topic tonight is Hanukkah, which is crazy because we just feels like we just had Thanksgiving, and it's obviously the holidays are never early or late, but this year they're early, and sort of taking a look at some of the ways we can find more meaning in this holiday. I think it's one of the most popular holidays we have. It's of all the you may not come to temple on Rosh Hashanah, and you may not even have a seder on Passover, but most people or fast on Yom Kippur. But lighting the menorah is like seems like a pretty common thing. And I think without to kind of start us off thinking about Hanukkah, it's hard not to think, even as Jews, even in our community, when you think about Hanukkah, it's hard not to think about the kind of elephant in the room with the Santa hat on, which is Christmas. And it can be really easy to kind of compare Hanukkah and Christmas, and this is really true if you're a parent with young kids, going to public school, and there's a lot of and even just living in our community, there's a lot of Christmas stuff going on TV and stores. People have decorated it. It's everywhere, and so I think can sometimes be really difficult not to compare Christmas and Hanukkah, and sort of feel like maybe Hanukkah comes up short. I mean, this is like, this is sort of the reality of the world we live in. And so from my take on it is usually that kind of the first step is just trying not to compete with Christmas. Obviously, if you're an interfaith family and you're celebrating both holidays, that's amazing, and totally awesome to include both in your life, in your family celebrations. But I think, again, even in that case, trying to make Hanukkah feel unique, feel, different than whatever's going on when people are celebrating Christmas. So for example, like a lot of people, one of those things that, when people do, they have this like elf on the shelf thing. And so now people are sort of doing the mensch on the bench, or, even, more extreme, like you hear stories about like the Hanukkah bush or what have you. To me, I think if that's something that you choose to do in your family, totally cool. I think for me, there are different and better ways to, get the meaning of Hanukkah across, without having to, use the kind of trappings of Christmas. You don't have to. And so if we don't have to do that, well, then let's figure out like what we can do instead of what we don't want to do or can't do. And for me, that's really about understanding the themes of what makes Hanukkah special. And for me, the theme that I sort of come back to the most is this idea of bringing light into the world. It's literally dark outside. It's winter, but also that we understand that our world sometimes has darkness in it, and sometimes has that we're not sure if the light is going to last. The light of kind of kindness and justice and compassion can sort of stand up against the things that sort of bring darkness into our world, inequality and greed and things like that. And so the biggest thing to me is about finding ways to use Hanukkah as a time to bring light into the world, and that can be through finding ways to give back, to volunteer. At the temple, we're going to have our Hanukkah social action program. That this is our third year that we've done it, and it's a really great opportunity to turn Hanukkah into not a holiday that's not so much about what you get, but how you can give. And like I said, bring light into the world. Another thing that you can do, and something cool, a lot of people now are doing these fundraisers on social media, like for their birthdays or something like that. And, making the decision as a family, maybe Hanukkah is a time that, for the 8 nights of Hanukkah, you're going to try and raise some tzedakah to donate to a cause that's worthy for you. That's something you feel strongly about as a family. I think, Hanukkah, another kind of theme of Hanukkah is all about, is all about kind of coming together as a family. When I was growing up, we would light the menorah every night. But then, we'd go and do homework and have dinner and, maybe we'd do presents real quick. And then, everything just kind of, cause it's a regular day, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's life. We're all busy doing all different kinds of things. But maybe something we can try is, taking each of those nights of Hanukkah and finding ways to make that time really special. One of the things that I've been sort of thinking about is sort of this idea of kind of each night having some kind of 8-minute, because 8, obviously, these little 8-minute activities, especially if you're a parent with kids, that can really, really enrich that time together. And so and each night, making it a little bit different. So maybe one night it's an 8-minute dance party to some of your favorite Hanukkah songs. And maybe one night it's doing, reading a Hanukkah story together. If you're looking for great Hanukkah stories, by the way, PJ Library, if you're not signed up, it's great. They have amazing books for Jewish, for Jewish kids. Doing, a quick art project or coloring or something like that. Or even, one night maybe going out and before you light candles, taking a walk around the block, sort of it's, feeling that darkness outside, and then you sort of come in and you kind of create that light of the menorah. You can really feel the contrast more strongly. And adults can do this too. So maybe it's about finding a story or a poem that speaks to you that maybe is on the theme of light or on the theme of, thinking about the story of the Maccabees, this idea of the small standing up to the mighty, an article that you read that speaks to you, or even taking just some time for some meditation or some mindfulness, lighting the candles and then just taking some time to look at them and appreciate them. And really trying to make it a special moment, even if you're by yourself, and even if we're not with family, that we can use the lighting of the menorah as a time to kind of check in with ourselves, thinking about the light that we have in our lives, and the ways that we can appreciate that light and cultivate a sense of gratitude, and give that light back to others. So, you can even take that time for some journaling, or even, listening to music, all those kinds of things that kind of bring light into your life. And I think, practically, again, thinking about kids, if you kind of give each night something special, well, then one night is dance night, and one night is story night, and one night is art night, and one night is present night. And, you can kind of break the cycle of the kind of 8 presents, 8 nights, and the pressure that some families may feel to kind of deliver on each night. And that can be something that can really, again, make it more than just lighting a few candles, exchanging presents, and then that's it for the rest of the night. But finding it as a time to really spend quality time together as a family, or spending quality time with yourself. The other thing to think about is, the word Hanukkah literally means dedication. And so something that you could consider doing is, so obviously, exchanging gifts is a big part of Hanukkah nowadays in the US and, around the world. But maybe that moment, thinking about the idea of the dedication of the temple, right? Making it this special holy place. Once again, after it was destroyed, but rededicating it anew, is finding a way to maybe give a gift to your home. And that could be buying a new mezuzah. It could mean buying something really beautiful, that's something that's for decoration that you hang in the window, or, something in, just around in your home. Could be, something Jewish. It doesn't have to be, but something that you can add to your home to make it feel a little more special, a little more holy. You know, and it even could be something, maybe you don't buy it, maybe you make it as a family or on your own. And that can be another way to sort of connect to the meaning of Hanukkah. Yeah, I think one other tradition that I wanted to talk about was the story of Judith. So not a lot of people know about the story of Judith, and you know, the Maccabees, like a lot of stories in the Jewish tradition, right? There's not a lot of kind of stories about women, but Judith is actually a really great story about women. A woman who had a part to play in the Hanukkah story. So basically, her story goes that she lived in one of the small towns in Israel, and you know, the Assyrians were coming in and trying to conquer the land. And the general, the king's general, his name was Holofernes, was coming to her town to, you know, conquer. And the townspeople didn't know what to do. They, you know, wanted to find a way to obviously to stop him. And so Judith volunteers, and what she does is she goes to his tent. And, you know, like a lot of these stories, Holofernes is taken by her great beauty and invites her into his tent, where she feeds him and she gives him drink, and basically she gets him drunk. And when he's asleep, she cuts his head off. Sorry, it's not such a PG story, but it's a story here, and she becomes the hero of the story. She saves the day. So one thing that is a tradition, so that it says it's told that Judith, the kinds of foods that Judith fed Holofernes were like cheese, like salty kinds of cheeses or other salty foods. So in addition to your latkes and your gelt and your sufganiyot, you know, your jelly donuts, etc. You can also have salty food, in particular, you know, the salty cheese, as a reminder of the story of Judith. Yeah, I think going, and by the way, the story of the Maccabees and the story of Judith do exist as texts that you can read. They are not a part of our Tanakh. They are part of what we would call the Apocrypha, which were books that were around at the same time as some of the books that, you know, that made it into the Tanakh, into the Bible that we have today. They were also sacred texts, but didn't quite make it into the canon of the Hebrew Bible that we use today. So if you ever wanted to actually read the story, you can. You would probably find it in some Protestant Bibles will have them. And it's called these are the apocryphal books. And in it, you can find the books of Maccabees and the book of Judith. And so you can take a look at the text and actually read the story. Yeah, I mean, the place that I have used to kind of read those texts that I did it in college is the Oxford Study Bible, which is a great resource for all the apocryphal books, which a lot of them were written during the time of the Second Temple. So even though they're sort of, you know, you're like, well, you'd find them in a Protestant book, they tell Jewish stories, and including the story of the Maccabees. So before we finish up, we're going to take some time for questions or comments, and you can just type them into the chat, and that way we can all we can see them, and then I can answer them, and we'll just try it out that way. Yeah, so someone was saying that they heard that this was a holiday of religious freedom, and, you know, putting your menorah, your Chanukiah in the window is a way to sort of show your faith publicly. And yeah, I think that's actually really true. You know, in the story of the Maccabees, you know, so the Assyrians, there were Greeks basically. Their whole thing is they're coming in to conquer the land of Israel and to Hellenize the Israelites. Which was sort of their MO across every civilization that they conquered, was to you know, assimilate them into the Assyrian, into the Greek culture. And so, you know, destroying the temple and, you know, forbidding the reading of the Torah and gathering for minions and circumcisions and all different kinds of things was a means to assimilate the Israelites. And the Maccabees were sort of the hardliners in resistance to that. I mean, they were really actually quite zealous, or kind of considered zealots in their time, fighting, against the Assyrians. But they were very hardline about what they believed that Jews should and shouldn't be doing in terms of assimilation. So it's actually a more complicated story than just the Greeks were bad and they decided that the Maccabees were good and benevolent and wanted everyone to be happy. It's a little bit more a story about religious freedom, but also a story about assimilation and being a part of a larger culture and the conflict of that. And that's like a little bit more. There's a lot to talk about there and a lot to unpack. Someone was saying they found readings from a website called jewbelong.com. I think this is Mercy, that have added to their celebrations. That's awesome. Very cool. That's not a website I know, but usually I find great articles on myjewishlearning.com or my mind just blanked. On kind of Jewish, magazines that deal with Jewish issues. So Tablet is a great online magazine that publishes a lot of different articles about Jewish topics, book reviews. It's a little bit alternative, but they sometimes have really great articles about different aspects of Jewish life. And yeah, so that's really awesome. Okay, I'm supposed to show you the poster I'm sitting in front of. So that's the poster. It's from the Getty Museum in LA, in case anyone cares. Any other questions? So the last thing we're going to do is we are going to finish with a song, because obviously that's hello, hi. But before we do, I just want to say that sort of my gift to you guys, which I'm going to kind of email after we're done here, is I made a little playlist on YouTube of some of my favorite Hanukkah songs. And I tried to kind of create a good mix of some of the old classics, the traditional Hebrew songs, some other songs, and even some modern songs. The big thing now today is all these Jewish a cappella groups are coming out with taking popular songs and turning them into Hanukkah songs. And so that can be this really fun and great if you have like pop songs that you guys really love in your house, if that's something you guys like, and then changing it, making it into a Hanukkah song. The Maccabeats and the band 613, SIX and then 13, are two professional a cappella groups who are Jewish, who do a lot of different kinds of songs for Hanukkah. Purim also, big thing there. And so the song I want to teach you it's called Sufganiyot, which obviously comes from the jelly donuts that are, part of Hanukkah food often in Israel, but we eat them. A lot of people eat them here too, filled with jelly or all different kinds of flavors. And this song was written by Ellen Allard. It's in the playlist. Oh, by the way, if you're someone who's listening to this later on, I am going to make this list public, and I think we'll maybe put it into the eBlast or something like that, so that if you want to access this playlist also later on, you totally can. So Ellen Allard wrote this song. It's from her new album. She writes a lot of amazing music, Jewish music for kids, in particular young kids, but really kids of all ages. I do her music all the way up, through with my fifth graders. Even older kids love it too, and adults, because it's just really fun stuff. And so her song is called Sufganiyot, and I'm going to sing a little bit of it. And, even though you guys are all muted, you can sing along. I won't know. No one will hear you. And so I encourage you to give it a shot. So the way it goes like this. So it goes, Sufganiyot, gonna make some Sufganiyot, so yummy in the middle. Sufganiyot, gonna make some Sufganiyot. So that's the first part. And then in the middle, everyone gets a chance to kind of share what filling they want in their sufganiyot. So, for example, does someone want to shout out to me something that they like in their sufganiyot? Strawberry jelly. Beautiful. So you go, what's in the middle? Strawberry jelly. What's in the middle of your sufganiyot? What's in the middle? Strawberry jelly. What's in the middle of your sufganiyot? And then sufganiyot, gonna make some sufganiyot. So yummy in the middle. Sufganiyot, gonna make some sufganiyot. Let's see what someone else wrote. Chocolate. Great choice. What's in the middle? Chocolate. What's in the middle of your sufganiyot? What's in the middle? Chocolate. What's in the middle of your sufganiyot? Sufganiyot, gonna make some sufganiyot. So yummy in the middle. Sufganiyot, gonna make some sufganiyot. Salted caramel. Ooh, very creative. What's in the middle? Salted caramel. What's in the middle of your sufganiyot? What's in the middle? Salted caramel. What's in the middle of your sufganiyot? Sufganiyot, gonna make some sufganiyot. So yummy in the middle. Sufganiyot, gonna make some sufganiyot. That's the song. Really fun, easy. And so, yeah, if there's any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, good. I'm glad this was helpful. Awesome. Yeah, cool. So thank you guys for, like I said, being our test subjects. And yeah, we're going to be doing this again for Tu B'Shvat in a couple of months, I believe. And so, yeah, we'd love to have you come back and do it again. And please give us feedback. Let us know what worked, what didn't work, what you liked, and what you felt like we could do differently. Because, again, this is brand new for us. And so, yeah, we look forward. So have a wonderful night and happy Hanukkah, everyone.